Kamala, you're fired.
All right, guys, I'm currently looking at the exit polls from this election, which are not always entirely accurate. I'm sure you're going to get better data in the coming weeks. But this time around, when you line them up with the actual results from Tuesday, they do seem to be pretty on the money. And we are finding here, not only did Donald Trump make history for himself, right? First Republican to win the popular vote since 2004, swept every single battleground state, gave himself a political mandate, all the things you already know. But it also seems to me Donald Trump literally saved long-term the Republican Party from political extinction, because there's been a lot of talk about how the GOP is a dying party. Age changes, demographic changes, all these things, blue Texas, remember how that was a thing, are going to screw over the GOP. The future belongs to the Democrats. And on Tuesday, you saw some of those trends reverse. It seems like that entire narrative has fallen flat on its face. We'll tell you all about it in today's video. But first, folks, do us a big favor. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And why should you subscribe? Because it's going to be a very fun year. It's the best way to ensure we can keep bringing you these videos. And we are trying to hit 400,000 subs by the inauguration. You can support by hitting that red button down below. Just do it. Just subscribe. Okay, and with that said, let's start here by talking about young men, because this is a demographic obviously I am a part of, right? I am Gen Z, I'm 21 years old, but I also predicted, I thought, at least in the battleground states, but maybe even nationally, Donald Trump would win the young male vote 18 to 24 outright, which is very unprecedented. That never happens, right? Young people tend to be liberal, but I was telling everyone, look, guys, I am seeing a rapid cultural change over the past several years. Someone like me was not old enough to vote back in 2020, but now that newer, younger end of Gen Z is coming into being, right? We're going to do this. We're going to deliver. The frat guys, everyone, we're all going to go vote for Trump. And look at what you are seeing. This is from the NBC Exit Poll. In the battleground states, Donald Trump outright won the young male vote here, as you can see, 18 to 29 years old, 49% to 47%. Just won it outright. And by the way, I would guess if you broke this down by 18 to 24 specifically, people my age exactly, you might even see Trump won that by a little bit more, which is just awesome to see, right? Because not only does the system kick around and disrespect young men, but in some ways we are becoming the counterculture nationwide. And as I said before the election, in a plea to get young men to actually go to the polls, we are the agents of change throughout history, right? When young men in history get mad, get angry at the system, the entire status quo crumbles. And it seems like that's already what you're witnessing across the nation as we speak, even in places like California. Take a listen.
After a group of pro-Trump students celebrated on campus, this TikTok video showing the group of mostly boys with Trump flags and MAGA hats. School leaders say they kept an eye on things and stepped in when things got out of hand. School leaders say they are now restricting students from gathering in order to keep all students safe. They say students can still express themselves in an orderly manner.
Yeah, I literally think we're going to be the generation. Like, we are going to be the generation to save America. Because by relative polling, right, it seems like we are the most conservative generation in America for our age. Keep in mind, younger people tend to be liberal in a very long time. And you're seeing that energy right there from young men. So can I just say to all of the conservative media out there that thinks it is cool or trendy to just dunk on Gen Z, call us so stupid? Okay, give us a little bit of credit in this election. We are a lot smarter than you think we are, especially the young men, okay? And I said before, I said Trump would do a great thing by appealing to young men. You saw he started to do that. Look what happened. He won that vote outright. Pretty impressive, right? But overall, okay, this is what's also important to keep in mind. It's not just the young people that he did a lot better with, especially by gender. We saw overall that we became a younger party in this election, because take a look at the other generations. So the typical stereotype of the GOP was that we are the party of the baby boomers, right? People 65 and older. But I was noticing, right, because they watch a lot of cable news, they buy into this nonsense about democracy, not the ones who watch this channel, obviously, but we know what's going on here. Take a look. 65 and over actually split 50-50, right? 49% for Trump, 49% for Kamala Harris. That is not the reason why Donald Trump won this election. We find it was actually among Gen X. Take a look here. Voters 40 to 49 years old, that's where Trump won 50 to 48. And voters especially 50 to 64 years old, a lot of our parents' age right now, Gen Z people, 56% for Trump, only 43% for Harris. It is no longer the party of boomers. It is now the party of Gen X. So not just on the younger end, but also on the older end, the overall age of our party went down, right? We're now the Gen X party, not the baby boomer party. You even, I would argue, have seen that at Trump rallies over the past 4 years. I don't know if I'm the only one who notices this, but do you ever see how it is mostly actually Gen X people in the crowd, not baby boomers, right? So we just bought ourselves at least another 20, 30 years on the age front. Because again, our party got younger on like every level. Right? The primary generation we rely on now is not boomers. They're voting Democrat, actually, we're finding. It is Gen X. It is the generation of my parents, so shout out to them. But also on the racial front, take a look at this, guys. I'm sure you heard a lot of the rumblings about Hispanic voters and what that means in states like Arizona, Nevada, Texas as well, by the way, also Florida. Remember that, keep that in mind. Only went 52 to 46 for Kamala Harris. Keep in mind, back in 2016, Hillary Clinton won the Hispanic vote by 31 points. Needless to say, that is a gigantic shift. That is a political earthquake. But on top of that, guys, Latinos, again, the party got younger. The party got more diverse from a racial sense. Even young women, the people that were believed to be the Kamala Harris base constituency, because abortion and she's a woman and Donald Trump and all this stuff. Young women under 30 also shifted 11 points towards Trump in 2024. Okay. Biden in 2020, old white guy. One young woman, 18 to 29 by 35 points to only 24 points for Kamala Harris. So big on so many levels. And that's why I get together, and my central conclusion, again, is not just the fact that Trump won a pretty solid election and historic and all that stuff. He literally saved the Republican Party. Because think about this, guys. Just about 4 to 5 years ago, there was rampant conversation on how the GOP was a dying party. And there were a lot of legitimate reasons to believe, yeah, Republicans are pretty screwed in the future for a number of reasons. Let's start with the age change, right? The common perception was that boomers are the ones voting Republicans, old people. When those old people inevitably pass away, the electorate is going to favor significantly more Democrats. But as I brought up, Donald Trump with Gen X, with Gen Z, with a lot of people made the Republican Party significantly younger. And now that shoe is on the other foot. Right? The shoe actually seems to suggest maybe that even as the baby boomers get older and pass away, the country may start to become more Republican. At the very least, it's not going to change all that much. So in terms of age, Donald Trump literally saved the party. And let me tell you this right now, no other Republican would have been able to do it. Okay. Some neocon Republican was not going to win Gen Z votes, was not going to dramatically redo this realignment. It was not going to happen. And that's why, despite all the talk about how Trump made the GOP toxic, we need to go back to the party of Romney and McCain and all this crap. I hope this election is the final nail in the coffin to that argument, just saying. But the other thing that Democrats believe was in their favor was demographic change, right? You know, white people tend to be, and still are, by the way, the overwhelming base for the Republicans. So the general thinking, and it's funny because Democrats would say this publicly, but then also call the Republicans racist if they pointed out the same exact thing. But nonetheless, okay, we're not here to talk about that today. The general thinking was that as white people shrink, right, become a minority in this country, well, that's going to favor the Democrats till the end of time because white people are the ones voting Republican. Democrats have a monopoly on the minority vote, except you're seeing this time around that Trump basically split the Hispanic vote very close to 50-50. It is Latinos who are the primary drivers of America's demographic change and all that stuff, all those shifts. So even on the front of racial demographics, if this realignment continues where Hispanics become more and more Republican, Donald Trump, whatever he did, because this is a trend that started in the 2020 election, just ensured that the changing in racial demographics is not going to permanently doom the Republican Party. Again, he literally saved the party. They thought this thing was over. Even think about certain states in this nation. For instance, blue Texas. Remember that? It seems like a very long time ago. But just 4 years ago, there was a serious possibility. People thought that the state of Texas would turn into a purple state and then a Democrat state. By the way, Hispanic voters were a big reason for that belief, but also suburban, right? Migration, all these different changes that were happening. Guys, Donald Trump won Texas by 14 points this time around. Okay. New Jersey for the Democrats, New Jersey, Minnesota, places like that were closer for the Democrats than Texas was for the Republicans. Texas just got solidified once again as a deep, safe red Republican state. But even think about other places like Arizona and Georgia. Just 2 to 4 years ago, it seemed like those states were completely lost. We were totally demoralized. We were giving up. It's like, oh my gosh, the Democrats are taking it. It's over. Look what happened. We just shifted those places back. Now, those states are still going to be competitive, but now, once again, we have a fighting chance, right? The idea after this election that these places are going to go permanently blue, not happening. By the way, Donald Trump finally flipped the state of Nevada Republican again for the first time since 2004. Just looking at the current trends, it is no longer Republicans who are going to be screwed in future elections. It is officially now the Democrats, because take a look at the projected 2030 census, right? How the population is expected to shift in this country. And based on what we are currently seeing, right, the trends, it is currently projected that California is going to lose 5 electoral votes in the census because they're losing population. Oregon is going to be losing 1. Minnesota is going to lose 1. Michigan's going to lose 1. New York is going to lose 3. And Illinois is going to lose 2, right? So a lot of the blue states, guys, in the next decade are going to lose population, but look who's going to gain the population. Texas, ladies and gentlemen, is expected to gain 4 electoral votes. Florida also expected to gain 4 electoral votes. Guys, that is 8 electoral votes right there that we gained. And look at what the Democrats lost. But then look at some of these other places as well. Here are all of the states that are expected to gain 1 electoral vote in 2030. Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Utah, and Idaho. They are so screwed. Like, you can't, guys, it is over for them. So guys, look, a lot can change, right? We need to capitalize on these trends. We can't just like not show up in the 2028 election or something, obviously. But again, that narrative that we all felt, okay, remember how you felt about this stuff 4 years ago. The narrative that Republicans were the ones kind of fighting for survival in American politics and Democrats were destined to dominate us long term, it is no longer true. In fact, looking at that census map, it literally could not be more opposite. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a little dissertation on how Donald Trump saved the Republican Party, okay? Because he took the swing states, what formerly were considered swing states like Texas and Florida, and he made them red states. He flipped places like Arizona and Georgia back in our direction. He opened up places like Nevada. By the way, I would also argue Virginia, New Jersey. You saw how close those states were. Those states are going to be up for grabs by the 2028 or 2032 election, given the trends. It's all looking good. Latinos, right? America's fastest growing demographic, the chief drivers of the demographic change. They just split 50-50. You know, that vote is totally up for grabs now. Latinos are no longer a political monolith, nowhere close. It's all looking very good, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, last thing I'll say here, no other Republican could have done it, okay? I don't care about these neocons playing Monday morning quarterback or the Reagan caucus on Twitter that's like, we need to go back to the party of Mitt Romney. No, you guys are done. You guys are done. And the only argument you ever had was the 2020 election and how, no, Trump ruined our party. We're never going to win again. What are you saying now, buddy? Okay? Because it's as clean as it can get. We were right. You were wrong. Trumpism is the future of the GOP. And just looking at the map, there's a reason why. And the exit polls, all of it. Okay? Sorry you guys wanted to be a permanently losing party, but we're not here for it. We want to be a permanently winning party. So with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, God bless and peace.